Wait. Alright, now it's going. Okay. I'm gonna wait a second until people join, and then I'll explain exactly what it is that I'm doing, but until then, I'm going to switch to my bench view, which looks like this today, yeah? And I've got this guy over here in the background keeping us company, because, I don't know, he wants to be included more. Normally Noodle's the one that's awake and about in the background, saying hi, but he's off camera today, he's right there. So, yeah. But he's, I don't know, he's looking at me, keeping me company, all judgmental-like. Let's see. I'll wait until somebody pops into the chat so I know that I'm not explaining to an empty room. But until then, I'm going to start opening some of these packages, these blister packages, because they're kind of a pain in the butt to shuck. I'm going to use the word shuck. And it kind of amazes me that you can buy, oh god, things that clean your teeth if you don't like brushing your teeth, or you're the type of person who forgets to do that often, in individual blister packages. I mean, that's kind of weird. Also, Mark's in the room with me right now.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hi.
Mark's here. I'm gonna use my laptop like a pro. Mark's right there at his bench. Say hi.
Hello.
He's working on his own project right now, as Mark does. They're little circuits. Oh, he's coming over. He's gonna show. So he's putting dust specks.
Okay.
Okay. Weirdo. Weird.
Yeah.
But I like it. And what are those for again?
These are LED drivers for model railroad cars, so that you can light the interiors. Like there's little lamps in there.
Yeah.
It's for a customer that sells model railroad parts online. So he asked for a custom LED board.
Train lights. They're train lights.
So your little caboose can appear to have little candles inside.
In case you want company.
Yeah.
Train company.
Vintage look.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm gonna put my laptop down because it's awkward and heavy. But yeah, I bought these little, they're like, what are these? They're like tooth cleaners, like for individual, I don't know. Like
yeah, probably for like travelers.
Weird. It's creepy. So if you forget to brush your teeth, you can buy these little like miniature toothbrushes. The thing that's funny about this is if you want to buy just the round toothbrush head for one of those electric toothbrushes that are kind of, I don't know, people use those these days, like Mark has one. If you want to just buy the refill pack for those toothbrushes, it's $1 million for like 2 half of a toothbrush pieces, which is nuts. But then you can buy these for like $2. So yeah, it's kind of weird. But I'm gonna try using these tiny little disposable toothbrush nib head things because they're round. They've got kind of a low profile, small bristleness going on, and there's this tiny little bead in the center, which I'm assuming is like a toothpaste, and that is that's like consumable, and that will actually dissolve or go away, and I might be able to implant a little piece of sponge where that blue bead is in the center to act as something to absorb my ink and kind of, I don't know, hold on to a little bit of the moisture so that the robot can smear more properly. And I don't know, it doesn't look like anyone's in my anyone has joined me yet. So I'm not gonna explain what I'm doing yet, just for the sake of not repeating myself too many times. But I am gonna open up some of these things from the package and assess them, because I'm really curious to see what these feel like. But they're in like, you have to break them out of they're like pills or something. I've never bought these before. And I don't have nails, so I'm not really breaking them out very easily. Am I live? Yeah, I'm live. What's going on? There we go. So right now, in the other room, where the 3D printer is, I'm printing some shoes for the noodle. I guess I can show that here. I'll explain this again if I have to. But this guy right here is my noodle doodle, my doodle feet. I can call them that. Our shaky smears, our inky feet. I don't know what I'm gonna end up actually calling him, but doodle feet seems appropriate for now. But I went ahead and mounted tiny little vibrators that were a lot smaller than I was anticipating. And, oh, hi. A couple people are here. Hi! Welcome to the party. Cool. Alright, I'm starting just at the right time then. So this little one right here is the new spawn. It was birthed sometime this afternoon, and it's not really entirely done being, I don't know, gestated yet. It needs a head. There's no head on top of this little guy, and it needs feet, or toes, shoes. I'm gonna call them shoes. So the idea is that this guy actually has replaceable or interchangeable feet, like different types of brushes, because I'm not sure what is going to work the best yet. Again, I stated this earlier this week that the effect I'm going for is sort of a smear. Like I would like that as this guy vibrates that he kind of just makes 4 different colored streaks across the surface that he's standing on. So it would be really great if I could use something sponge-like that has fluid charged inside of the sponge so that it just sort of juices as it slowly runs out of ink and dries out. But that might not work. I might end up having to use brushes or something with a bristle. These are called brush bots for a reason, so I'm assuming that the thing that makes them work is in fact the fibers that stick down and make contact with the surface. So I don't know. Since I don't know what I'm doing, I'm printing basically little round, like horseshoes almost, that will kind of compress onto the ends of these flat little cylindrical feet. And if something doesn't work, then I can just pop them off and replace them without having to remake this entire body. What I've rigged up for tonight is I have a tiny little breadboard glued to a piece of wood with an Arduino, and this is actually going to hang down right here from Noodle's tether. This is normally used on Noodle. It's attached to his head to aid him in walking, but today I'm going to use it on the baby, and he's got a nice little pad of paper down here that he's going to rest on top of and hopefully shake across here in the near future. So yeah, I want to point out again, I want to state this, but this whole setup, the vibrating drawing artist robot, was inspired by Micah Scott's brush bots that she's been working on for the past couple of weeks here. Watching her streams kind of inspired me to take a project I had been working on, which was the noodle spawnling, and sort of try and make my own version of what she's working on. I don't know. Some sort of creative dialogue where I take a noodle spawnling that vibrates and kind of does its own sort of art on its own, but it was inspired by her work. So here, I've birthed a hybrid baby. I could actually put a marshmallow inside of this thing's head. I guess I could do that, and then it would at least have eyes and stuff while it's dancing across the paper, if I do get it working today. But I'm gonna put him there. So I have four shoes printing right now, and I'm thinking I'm gonna probably whack the heads off of these things. These little, like, tooth scrubber deals. The bristles are super fine. I don't know if you can see that very well. Here, let me switch the camera. Laptop camera, there we go. So they're very short and they're fine. They're stiff enough that they're going to actually hold the robot's weight up. And in the very center, there's this weird bead, and I don't know what this does, but I'm going to take a wild guess that there's juice inside of that bead. And if I pop it, it'll just kind of dissolve away. I could be wrong. That's just a theory. We'll find out soon enough. So I'm going to squeeze this at some point like a pimple, and it's going to juice out, and then I'm going to replace the pimple bead with a little piece of sponge. And I bought sponge. I got these round sponges from the cosmetics section of my Walgreens, and I'm going to cut these into whatever auxiliary pieces I need to add to this to, I don't know, facilitating the sponging, because I don't think this is going to hold a lot of ink on its own. And then I got a little bit thicker sponges from Walgreens. That's the plan. But those, I think they said they'd take about a half an hour to print the 4 first shoes. So I'm gonna go check on them in another 10 minutes. So I'm gonna find something to occupy my time until then. But I'm gonna take a peek at the chat real quick. Oh, hi, Robot Girl! Aaron's with me.
Hi, Aaron.
Mark says hi. How are you doing? Cool. There's other avid robot makers in the room. That's the best. Cool. Welcome to the void. And yeah, I'm gonna try and get make a couple different types of spawnling, like different variations of the spawnling that do different things. The one that I've made right now, that I have the marshmallow brain for, does it's kind of a really basic version of the spawnling. It blinks and beeps, and that's about it. I'm gonna try and make increasingly more intelligent versions of the spawnling. This one, I don't know if this ends up working out, and I think I can conceivably turn it into a board and a kit, then I will do so in the future, but we'll see. But anyhow, is this the view that I wanted? I don't know. No, it's not. This is the view I want. There we go. That's better. I have all these desktop views now. Alright, so I'm gonna pop this, and I'm gonna see what this actually, if this is fluid, so, which I'm thinking it is. I'm gonna make a huge mess on my laptop, probably. Mark, do you think this is juice? Or is it just a bead? Ooh, I don't want to, like, deform my little bristles.
My guess is that once it starts to get wet, it starts to juice and become toothpaste.
Brushes with beads? What's the bead, though? Is it like a...
Maybe if you put that in water, it turns into a minty.
It says it has beads. I don't know, has anyone out there ever used these before? Do they know? Does anyone know firsthand? The other thing I'm curious about is whether I can just separate the brush portion from the weirdly shaped head bit without having to kind of cut it and then flatten it out.
You could pluck that out like a little gem.
No, I mean the old brushes, like the whole brush head.
The bead, I think you could pluck out.
I think it's just a bead. It's like not gel or anything. It's a legit bead. It's kind of weird. Okay. Ooh, it's minty. I guess this thing's flavored too. Okay, I'm gonna pluck that bead out in the center, and it's gonna make a little hollow cavity, and I'll probably end up sticking a sponge down in there eventually, but I'm gonna prep 4 of these to be hot glued to the noodle shoes that I have printing right now. Hi, Vigray. You have a few minutes before you go to the bar. I am envious. Man, no bar for us tonight. What I am doing later on, around 10:30, I am going to blow a load of paint all over the backstage theater at Blue Man, which is my Saturday thing that I go and do with one of my friends. So he's gonna show up at some point and frisk me away to go and make messes until like 4 or 5 in the morning. So that's what I've got going for the rest of the night, early morning day. However long it takes. Yeah. So I should start drinking coffee here in a minute, I think. But anyhow, I gotta pluck this ball out. Ball. Players. Yeah. So That's gonna be hard. Oh! I popped it.
Did it goop?
Oh, it totally gooped. It gooped all over my glasses. Holy shit. I just got money shot all over. Mark, look. Look at that. I smell like mint now.
Oh, that's messed up.
This thing in the center, it wasn't popping with the pressure of my fingers, and it took a bit of force, but... Oh yeah, it's totally... Oh yeah, that's definitely mint. Oh my god. Oh, wow. There's like little pieces of whatever the hell that was all over me too. And it's in my hair. Oh my god. Yay! Okay. I gotta clean these. Mark, is there like those blue things?
Kleenex?
Or a blue raggy wagon?
Those are for company. Here.
Thank you. Alright, I'm cleaning this, what the hell is that? I don't know if this is oil or it doesn't seem to be sticky, thankfully. Oh my goodness. So, speaking of blowing loads and spooging all night, my friend and I, who I do this with, Tony, we went to... Actually, no, I should preface this real quick. We normally make paint cannons, which is what we end up blowing the paint on the walls with. We have these air pressure cannons that we load up with ink, and then we put big splotches on the wall, because it's kind of Blue Man's thing, and it works. But the section of wall that we're doing tonight is it's in a very narrow hallway, so we don't actually have enough room to I'm gonna pluck the rest of the shattered ball out of this. But anyhow, so the hallway we're firing in is very narrow, and we can't actually fit our cannons comfortably inside of it. So we're going to use a different technique. We're going to actually use these balls that we found at IKEA, these wicker balls that are kind of like really tightly knit with pieces of like, what would you call it, like wicker?
Yeah.
It's like basket weave. They're like basket weaved balls that I guess normally function as decorations in normal households, but we also both agree that you could definitely dip those in paint and it would wick a lot of paint into the center of the ball, and then we're gonna heave them and make hopefully impact splatters on the wall with these balls, these paint balls. So that's the plan. If it ends up working out, I will definitely post pictures on Twitter, but we don't know. We've never experimented with them. We haven't experimented with them. Okay, I cleaned that explosive pimple out of the brush thing. That stuff burns, actually. It's all menthol-y. Smells good, at least. Yep. Okay, so now I know these explode. What are you guys talking about? Oh, they're laughing at me. So via the paint splattering videos, this is actually the 6th night that we're going in to do painting on the walls at the theater, or at least the colorful paint splattering phase. The video that I just posted is from the summer, and it was like the first night that we went in, so I'm actually backlogged. I need to catch up. So I'll be taking my camera with me to film this whole process, but it's gonna be a while until I actually catch up to the now, because every night our strategy changes, because one of the I guess byproducts of doing this as we go and kind of learning as we go is we can't plan or predict how it's going to turn out, because we're using, you know, paint cannons. We make big splatters. So we end up with something that we can look at once we're done and kind of assess whether it looks good or not, and then try to control it better or differently the next time we go in. So every segment of hallway looks slightly different because of that. So we're trying to create chaos, but we're also trying to kind of control it. Because it can look bad. That's the thing. Like, you can't just go and dump a bunch of paint on the wall and expect it to look good, generally. Okay, so I know this thing pops. Mark, how should I pop this thing? This pimple ball?
Ow. Don't? Do you need to?
Well, I need to get rid of it.
You just pluck it out of there. There's four little prongs hold it in. Maybe just use that pointy thing.
It's not...
You want a pointy thing?
Well, I can't, like, destroy the bristles. Oh god. No, I got it. Yeah, I'm trying not to, like, deform the bristles too much, though, so...
Needle thing, you can just kind of lever it out of there.
No.
Or pluck it with tweezers or pliers.
I got pliers. They're gonna be minty pliers. I'm trying.
You could wash it out. Just leave that whole thing in water for a while.
I could dissolve these out. That's a good idea. They're meant to dissolve, aren't they? I'm gonna dissolve these out. Okay. I hope this works. Again, if this doesn't, then it's just it's a set of feet for Tiny Noodle. So as soon as I'm done printing the first 4 like shoes, noodle shoes, I'm going to print another 4 to use so that they're ready by the time I'm finished gluing these things to those. And I think the next round I'm going to do will involve the sponges. So I'm going to make a version of the spongy shoes, or the painty shoes, that implore the use of different thicknesses of these, I don't know, hopefully absorbent facial sponges that are normally used for makeup. Right, Mark? Yup. And then at some point tonight, I'm gonna disappear and go and make a big mess, because that's how I cope with reality. Okay. Should I try and... I don't know if I should do that or not. It looks like there's a seam here where I might be able to separate the brush bit from the plastic body, but I don't want to completely destroy the delicate bristles on here trying to do that, so I don't know. I might end up just cutting the plastic with nippers to remove the head, because it's unfortunately attached at some weird wonky angle and is probably gonna make for a give me a difficult time trying to attach the brush heads to my shoes in like a nice flush sandwichy proper way. But yeah. Oh, good night, Alex. Good night in Spain. Cool, I wish I was in Spain. Eastern time zone, but I'm glad I caught the oh, Benjamin's happy that he caught the pimple pop. I'm glad you caught it too. I'm glad some people got to witness that glorious moment, that eureka moment. Right. Should I go? I'm gonna stick these in a cup. I'm gonna go get a cup really quick and stick these in it. And I'm gonna go check on my print. If it's done, I'll bring them back. But yeah, good night to those of you who are heading to bed now. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, I'm back. So these are dissolving in a little beaker. That's the smart way to do this. I'm like, no, I must remove the bead surgically with pliers. It's a challenge. Ooh.
You could eat the beads later.
My whole desk area right here smells like mint now. Okay. So I guess one of the other things I can test while the printer is still printing is whether or not these sponges, these facial sponges, actually absorb ink or paint. I mean, they're sponges, so it makes sense that they ought to, but... Ooh, the printer's done. I don't actually know this. Oh, these definitely will. I think so. So these are those, like, super ultra squishy, like, makeup sponge things. Looks like my camera's out of focus again. I'll fix that later. You don't need to see anything that's going on right here yet. So eventually, I think I mentioned this like early in the stream, but all these wires are going to actually connect to a suspended Arduino and breadboard, which I guess I can hang this right here for now. And that's just going to hang above the robot so that it can kind of shake around and do its thing. And Mark, I'm going to brag about you, but he soldered up these surface mount transistors. Here. That's not focusing. Yeah, they're that. They're surface mount transistors to solid wire so that I can stick these inside of the breadboard and control the pizza. Yeah, so I'm gonna go get those shoes because I mentioned that the printer, I heard it finishing. I'll be right back. Mark?
Yeah.
You can be my commercial break.
I don't have anything. I'll talk about your transistors.
All right, Sarah was talking about these transistors, so I don't have any transistors I can use in a breadboard right now because for whatever reason I don't have any. I usually do surface mount stuff, so I took one of these little SOT23 super small surface mount FET transistors and I added wires, as you can see on the camera there. I added 3 wires and then the transistors inside this little heat shrink package, but under a microscope I soldered 3 wires to it, and now she can put them in her breadboard and do the thing to run the motors. So I'm gonna get out of the way now.
Thank you, Ryan.
You have more chat. You should.
Okay. Hi, guys. Oh, hello, Daniel. Yes, BrushBot. This is a BrushBot that I think the Twitterverse kind of unanimously decided should be called Doodle Feet, but I'm still kind of, I don't know, I like shaky smears as well, and I also like Sir Inky Feet, so I don't know, Mark, what do you think makes the best name for the new baby? Doodle Feet, Shaky Smears, or?
Shaky Smears.
I like Shaky Smears.
It's like his rapper name.
It's his jazz musician name.
Jazz musician name.
Yes. Holy crap, those are big. Those are massive. I mean, they fit, but the walls are pretty big. Those are fat shoes. Oop. Fatty McFat shoes. I'm gonna actually slim those down a little bit. Mark, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Will you run and cancel the print on the printer and bring the memory card back?
Alrighty.
I can actually still use these, but I'm probably going to use them on the brush sponge pieces, because those are also pretty wide, and it looks like they're actually kind of consequently the same diameter as the round part of the makeup sponge. So I can just kind of complete this circle on the end, and it looks like it's going to fit pretty well on these feet as is. So I'm gonna actually go into my CAD right now and Oh my god, that is bright. I guess that'll do. Thank you, dear. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna go back into my CAD and I'm going to edit the shoe really quick, and I can do that fast because it's parametric. And I love it. What kind of CAD programs do you guys use out there? I use a Fusion 360 and it's fantastic. Does anybody else use that? Here, I'm gonna switch to my desktop with chat view. Is that good? Is that gonna work? It should work. I think that's what I'm looking for. Yeah? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Cool. I'm just gonna trust that's doing what I think it's doing. So here's my shoe. If you're still using SketchUp or something that sucks like SketchUp, this is why Fusion 360 is superior in every way. Did I say before that I use SketchUp or Fusion? I might have said like a second ago that I use SketchUp. I meant Fusion 360. SketchUp is terrible. Fusion 360 is awesome. If you haven't switched yet, for whatever reason, that's like the big lesson that I learned from last year, is that you should. And I stubbornly didn't for a very long time, and I'm very regretful that I did not. So I think this inner diameter here is 15.6. The little foot pieces of my noodle baby right here are 15mm diameter cylinders. I gave myself an extra 0.6 so that they slide on there nice and tight, but they're a little bit loose, so I'm gonna decrease that by just a small amount, like 0.2, and then I'm going to decrease the outer wall size, thickness, whatever. Right now it's, I think, 2mm thick. That outside kind of wall of the shoe, it's quite beefy once I actually place it on the foot. Again, that's a bit too much beef. I mean, I like beef, but that's an unnecessary amount of beef. So I'm going to decrease that by 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter might not be enough. Okay, I'll do that. If I can stop that, it's going to regenerate the shape for me. And then this second sketch down here, I have this lip on the bottom, which I added for some reason. It's still big. 18. No. 19. Sure. There's a lip on the bottom. I don't know why I added that. It's probably not necessary, but I just wanted to give a little extra like surface area for whatever I'm attaching to the foot to kind of cling to. Plus it makes these look a little bit more shoe-like. I think I'm going to remove it though, because I don't think it's super necessary that it's there. So no lip, a little bit slimmer profile. I'm going to make this thing discard changes. I'm going to center these guys and export them. Okay, so this is the funny part. You guys get to see me do this. So I have this adapter for my SD card reader, which is right here. And this thing, like, both connectors are bad. Like, the connector that the SD card goes into has a loose something inside of it, and so does the thing, the part that the wire goes into, the cord wire thing. So when to get it to work, I have to kind of torque this thing down and also kind of torque the cord, the card that way. And I have to hold it like this while I'm saving to it, otherwise it will disconnect, like the connection's intermittent. So every time I save something to be printed, which is about 1 million times every day, I have to do this song and dance. Noodle shoes 4xv2 save 2 makeup art. Shave. Okay. My desk is minty. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to, what is this? Is that the right one? No? Nope. Nope, there we go. Alright. I'm going to run and stick this inside of the printer real quick, and then I'm going to commence using, I think, the sponges. I said I was going to use the sponges with these shoes. Yeah?
Yeah, Mark?
Right back.
Mark, commercial break.
There's nothing to say. Oh, joke. No jokes.
All right, commercial break. I have nothing to talk about, so I'm going to look at the chat. Let's see. Daniel says, Sarah, webcam not work, showing stuff to wrong cam. Oh, your camera's messed up. Laptop cam not work.
Oh. Is it not working now?
Fusion 360 rocks. Robot Girl.
Oh no.
And sometimes Blender's more for rendering, I think, than CAD, but yeah.
Is this one working now?
Is that a toaster with a face?
Yes.
Oh, it's behind you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has a whole story behind it.
Yes.
All right. You kind of whatever. Is it dissolving?
I don't know.
It's swelling, I think.
Hmm.
You should go through. Why don't you look at the status of that? Which cam isn't working?
Yeah, which camera wasn't working? Was it the one where I was talking about the CAD?
Well, they can see the toasters. I think it's the other
Desktop
desktop
cam.
cam.
Was it this?
The
Was
one
it
that's
that
like
one?
the bench cam, but maybe that cam isn't working.
I don't know.
For chat sake.
Uh-oh. Tony's asking me if I'm ready for paint.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. So Tony's in the chat right now. Tony is the one that I'm doing the mischievous painting with tonight. Are you ready for the paint? What is it? It's 9? I've got an hour, and then I turn into a paint pumpkin. I'm never ready for the paint, Tony. It just happens. You should know this. Is the camera still not working? Is it working now? Oh, it turned off when I was in CAD. Oh, weird. Sorry about that. Is it okay now? Like, that I'm with the camera that's showing this and then my face here in the corner? If it is, just say yes and I'll stop worrying about it. Oh. I turned off when I was in CAD and I was showing stuff to the camera? Was I showing stuff to the camera when I was in CAD? Okay, so long as it's working. So I'm gonna take these little here I can probably switch to my laptop camera. Here. So I'm going to attach some of these sponge things to the feet, and I'm probably going to charge some of these up with paint and see if it actually does what I'm expecting. But before I do that, actually, real quick, I'll actually show this guy doing the vibrating, because I have a battery. I have a tiny little battery here inside of a marshmallow that I've been using just to test the motors, and I can kind of go through and see if these actually work now that they're installed. That goes there. Let's see. No. No. One of these sets of wires is trimmed and ready to go. Okay, found it. It is the wires that go to this foot right here. that little baby foot. Noodle baby? There we go. It's vibrating. Yeah. Not that you can see it vibrating. You can definitely hear it though. Okay, so that does its thing. Okay, so it still works. I just need to get some brushes on them feet and see if it does what I expect. I'm hoping that the body of this isn't, like, it's not very heavy, but I'm hoping it's not so heavy that it weighs the motors down and prevents them from allowing it to drift over the paper. So, anyhow, what was I up to? Oh yeah, I gotta trim these sponges. So I'm going to put my little foot thing on top of here. And I'm gonna trace around and cut off this point to some of these wedges. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Should the first set of feet be what combination of these colors? I've got black, white, gray, and kind of like a teal. I could make them all like white and gray, I guess, because those will be the colors that absorb the colored ink the most. I don't know, I might go with white and gray. I can use all of them. 2 of each. Okay, so I'm going to have a set of shoes that is white and gray, and a set of shoes that is teal and black. We'll go with that. See, this noodle is kind of like a Barbie in that it's going to have accessories. Tony says, I might need larger shaker weights. Is that the little thing that the offset weight thing on the spinny? Yes, it is. That sounds like what that should be. Oh, have fun at the bar, Vi. Enjoy it. Enjoy the drinking. I'm jealous of your Saturday night bar doing. Blue and black, gray and blue. Oh shit. I'm gonna go with these 2 combinations. Oh god. I'm gonna do a gray and white and then a black and a teal. It makes sense. Dark and light. I'm gonna set these little piles here. And Mark, do you want to help me set up my circuit? In a minute. Yes. I'm gonna get Sure. Shaky sound. Okay. I got my glue gun. Because it occurs to me I'm going to have to attach these things somehow to me. Yes? Keep out of reach of children. This product is not intended for use by children. Thank you. Mark is not allowed to use these sponges. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. From China. Yeah? Okay. So I'm gonna do the light colored ones first because I'm itching to mess them up. Yeah. Mark. Are you still working on your train thing?
Yeah, I'm adding the last layers and testing, clean them, then test them, and then ship them to the customer.
Yeah. Tony, you missed it. I popped the little... I don't even know if you're still in the chat. I'm gonna tell the story again because it was glorious. But I bought these little tooth cleaner things because they have like round brush bristly tips and they're cheap and low-hanging fruit, but they have this bead in the center and it's filled with liquid, but I didn't know that, so I proceeded to try and pluck the bead out from the center of the brush, and it popped all over my face. Yeah. And I smell like mint, so when you see me in another like hour or so, I'm going to have a mint smell. Just so you know. Mark's laughing.
After dinner perfume?
It's after dinner smell. They're little fat shoes. Fat shoes. Okay, there's one. It's kind of washed out. It's about as good as it's gonna get. I need better lighting. Is that better? No, it's not better. Give up, Sarah. Just keep working. This isn't the Sharpie I wanted. Yes, it could definitely be a worse thing than mint. Tony says it could be a worse thing than mint. Could always be a worse thing than mint. Oh, Daniel's saying he's going to rewind to see the pop. Enjoy the pop. It was glorious. I'm tracing my little circles. Noodle shoes. I'm like making Barbie accessories for my robot, which is awesome. Right, Mark? Yup. Okay, that should be good enough. They don't have to be perfect. They're gonna get completely screwed up. Deeply. There. That's good enough. Yeah. Details, details. This is like the new Inky feet. There, circle. So Inky feet. Yeah?
Scale it up to the real little.
Noodle wants to know if he gets his own set of ink shoes. I guess I could pull this up. The original, I think remember when I gave a talk at the SuperCon like 2 years ago? One of the original things I wanted Noodle's feet to be able to do was vibrate. They were going to actually light up inside the noodle and shake. But I don't know why I decided not to do that. I think like the prospect of tasting was far more interesting. Okay, so my beads have swelled. My beads have swollen.
You've got swollen beads.
And I'm hoping that means they're about to like dissolve. Maybe if I press them. The water smells minty, but the beads have not popped yet. Oh, one fell out. One is clear. Ha! The bead is out. The other one just kind of fell out. hate when your bead falls out too. Guess I could just pop it out at this point. It's like a little bag. Bead bag. It's a minty bag. It is fun for the whole family. This whole family. Noodle is very confused about what's going on right now. Noodle, these are tasting beads. Another bead. It's like surgery. Okay. I'm going to put the discarded water aside, and I've got my little things. Okay, those are next. Those are going to be for the next set of shoes. So I guess we can do this. I don't know if Tony's still in the room. Tony, are you here? And yes, Tony just brought up, next I need to make suction cup feet for the spawnlings. I'm going to do suction cup feet, and then I'm going to make a version that has magnet feet, so that you can actually stick the spawnling to your refrigerator or your something. To your tower of your computer or your laptop or something, and it can actually perch on a vertical surface and then beep at you. I'm very bad at cutting circles. Good enough. Tony, if you're still in the room, how long do you think it's going to take us to do the narrow wall tonight? I actually brought this up earlier, so everyone in the chat might actually know what I'm talking about. I explained that we're doing a narrow segment of wall, and we're bringing wicker balls with us to load with paint and then hurl at the surfaces like snowballs, I guess. But that being said, since it is a shorter section of wall, and since we aren't loading it with paint, and we don't have to use the air compressor or anything complicated, how long do you think it's going to take us to mask off the room, do our deed, and then get out of there? Because I have my money between 4 and 5 a.m. But I'm curious what you think. Huh? Oh, Daniel asks how Noodle is. Noodle is, he's good. He's not on right now, but he's actually off camera just a little bit right here where I'm pointing. He's like behind my laptop slightly, so I'm sitting in front of him, like in his room, working right now. And the comic page is not up yet. I was supposed to get that out today, but I kind of got distracted and worked on, getting the noodle baby, the toothbrush noodle baby instead. What did I do this morning? Oh yeah, I plastic welded. So I also worked on the next revision of the jelly drive system, which is also working better, but I didn't polish off the comic. It's like sitting at, I'd say, 90%. So it's just about there. I just have to kind of, I don't know, put the finishing touches on it and then push it out. So probably tomorrow, given that I finished what I'm doing right now, and then it will be out. So I apologize for it not being finished by today, because I did say it was going to be out by today. And Tony's saying he's hoping that we can get our painting deed done within 6 hours. I think it's going to take us less, but I'm usually wrong when I say that, so... Okay, I'm going to hot glue this guy onto the foot, and hopefully this doesn't deform too much since it is 3D printed and heat sensitive. Okay, I just heard the printer finish in the other room. My next set of shoes is ready to receive the heads of these brushes now that I've extracted the ball. As you do. Ooh, that's hot. Yeah. So this is one marshmallowy, spongy noodle foot shoe for the feet baby. So after I'm done gluing these down, I'm gonna go and run and grab the next set of feet. This one I cut all fucked up. Look at that. It's all slanty and wonky. I guess it doesn't matter. This is like a prototype after all. Everything you make is a prototype, Sarah. Noodle's like, I'm not a prototype. Right, Mommy? Okay, that's 2. Ow, 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 ow. Ow! Don't burn yourself with the glue. Bad raptor. Oh. So I still haven't thought of a way, or what I'm going to use to control the vibrating art bot with. Mark, do you have any ideas for inputs? Like what should influence the which motors get pulsed?
I think I would try to make an application like I would use Fermata on an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
And then I would simply have the Fermata app send over commands so that as you move your finger around the screen, it would make the motor go do that direction or something.
How would it? So I'd just like designate each quadrant of the screen, or I could do like a processing thing even.
Yeah, it'd be like something like processing. I think is that what Fermata does?
Yeah.
So you're running processing. You're gonna do.
It's actually a good idea.
Ultimately, that whatever that app is turning that into the thing Arduino commands to control each of the 4 motors.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be turning them on and off in some sequence to make him rotate, or go forward, or just wait. So that's what I would do. Is I would try to just get that whole basic touchscreen, make him move on the touchscreen thing, and then just refine that until you get kind of a basic thing.
Alright, I'm gonna... Yeah, I can actually do that because I actually have a screen to Arduino.
What do you need for model? You need Arduino doesn't have is there anything that has a Bluetooth on it that you can use?
You upload Fermata to the Arduino and then you...
But that's over a serial cable. It'll always have a cable if you do. It'd be nice if everything was battery and then had some module that was Wi-Fi, like they say a Raspberry Pi Zero, but that's kind of big for your little meter.
Mm-hmm.
You might just be on a cable when you do this.
That's fine.
And then just use an Arduino.
It doesn't. I don't have to know right now what I'm
Right.
gonna end up using. I'm just gonna start experimenting.
Yeah, I'd say once you get the motors kind of working, and then make an app that lets you do it. And then after that works, then refine the app so that you can make them steer or do.
do stuff.
interesting patterns. Yeah, that's what I
I'm gonna cut this head off. I'm thinking I want to do a thing where some part of what Noodle sees influences what the baby Noodle does. Somehow. Oh god. 'Cause it'd be cool to have an umbilical cord between the two, where one influences the other.
do.
Noodle, Daniel asked if Noodle has a middle and a last name. I guess I jokingly just call Noodle Noodle Tea Feet, and the T is for tasting. Noodle Tea Feet, Noodle Tasting Feet,
I call them what, Noodle Tastington?
Noodle Tasting Tin.
Noodle Joe Tastington?
No, Noodle Tea Tasting Tin.
Tastington?
Noodle Tea Tasting Tin. This might be harder than I thought. At least my ball extraction worked. Right?
Yep, soak it and pop on its own.
You soak it and then you let it pop on its own. You heard it here, folks. This is gonna be annoying. So I think the bristle portion of these little like head things is like melted onto the body, so it's not easily removable. But I could just lob the whole head off with nippers, but it's at a weird angle, so it's almost guaranteed to not cut off in a pleasant way. Tony says until Noodle gets Vandal feet, then he'll be Noodle V feet. Yeah? Noodle V feet. Noodle VD feet? That's not cool, Mark. Noodle. Mark's bad. And yeah, Toaster's keeping us company tonight. Good Toaster. Judgment Toaster is keeping us company tonight. God damn it. Yeah, these aren't gonna play nice.
Can you do a video showing how to make a toaster?
I do have a video. On my YouTube channel, I have a video for that guy, because his eyes are a custom board that I had made. It's just a bunch of surface mount, like orange LEDs, and then the segment display is a piece that you can 3D print that I designed. So I can actually probably put that up on my GitHub. And yes, I'm gonna make Noodle walk first, Tony. Thank you for reminding me. So I think I stated this on my Patreon. I'm designating Wednesday as Walking Wednesday. Which means I'm going to sit down and actually spend one day a week dedicated solely to the challenge of getting Noodle to walk. Detaching the head from this thing is going to be a pain in the ass. I'm trying not to hurt myself while doing this. Okay, I cut the head off. I cut the head off. That's a little better. I don't have the light, like, glaring in my face. I need a better desk light. So what's kind of obnoxious is the cost of the refillable, like, electric toothbrush body head things. It's like literally half of a toothbrush, but I think like a 3-pack was $20, which is nuts. And then they had like a 5-pack for $30-something at Walgreens, which was even more obnoxious. Which kind of sucks because those would have been like perfect for this. They're just literally little perfectly round brush heads for the ends of Noodle's feet. But yeah, I'm not paying $35 or something for toothbrush heads. These are nice and minty smelling. So tonight I get to smell like amp, paint, and cool mint. I might want to sand this down so that it's not all wonky. Daniel Marco says, within a spectrum determines the speed of the motor. Wait, what? I could use an IR sensor and hook it up to the color sensor, so if Noodle detects a color within a spectrum, it determines the speed of the motor. That's a good idea. So I could use either the camera or just the color sensor in one of his feet. IR sensor. Noodle, you need an IR sensor.
He says IR Noodle.
He says IR Noodle. Just wants to. Noodle. Oh. Color sensor, the noodle, determines speed. Is this for brushing really big teeth? Yes, it's for brushing the biggest teeth. They're for... It's a little robot that can climb inside of your mouth and use its feet to aggressively remove the plaque from the very back of your mouth. Yes. And it's piloted by Noodle, so you know he's going to do a good job. He's going to taste your taster. He's going to taste your taster with one of his babies. You heard it here first, folks. This is sucking. And it just reeks of mint. Oh god. I'm like... These are pretty damn small. I don't know. It's probably not a terrible thing. His feet do make contact with the surface at a slight angle, because his legs do bend. So given that, none of the feet actually do make contact with the paper flatly in a grounded-like fashion. Mark, do you wanna... Should we just hook up the noodle? No.
Oh, the feet?
Yeah. Yeah, I could like get him buzzing at the holes.
Like, am I running it on my computer?
Yeah.
And then what, giving it to you on your computer?
Yeah.
What if you have to debug?
You can just use my computer. I can do that there.
I didn't see it on you.
Yeah. Should I just plug them all into a power supply and have them all vibrating at the same time and see how it works?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
Then I can do that.
You have something else.
Smell my hand.
Minty. Do you have? What do you have that has a good 3 volts?
I don't know. Like, what do you mean? What do I have? I have.
Like those coin cells are not enough.
Do we have a wall wart?
Maybe. Let me see what I got.
Okay. Tony, you should come over and join the party. IRL. Okay, so while he's doing that, I'm going to rinse my fingers off. I'm gonna wire this guy right here, my baby noodle without his shoes, into the Arduino-y breadboard thing that I've got going on right here. And I actually need to tin some of these wires because none of them, I think only one set of them actually got tinned and prepared to be shoved into a hole of a breadboard. Okay, so I'm going to hook all of the motors up into my breadboard like I just said, and I'm just going to run them all at the same time to see if I don't know what it does. I have absolutely no idea if this is going to work at all, really. I recognize that having watched Micah's streams, her brush bots had 3 legs, which makes more sense from a symmetry standpoint. And they were a lot more delicate. The legs and everything were a lot more solidly connected to the body of the robot, and the surface area of the brushes was larger. And it just made a lot more sense. This doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't think I would design a brush bot like this if I were to, you know, conceive of one from scratch, but that isn't the point of this. The point is whether or not I can get a noodle spawnling to function as a brush bot painter smearing dude. So I have to work with what I've got. So the problem at hand is whether or not I can get this form factor to do it. I'm hoping I can, because I don't know. I'm starting to have my doubts, but we'll see. And yes, I am super minty fresh, Daniel. I smell like someone's mouth after they brushed it, of course. Oh yeah, I was gonna tin some wires. We did something similar where we made a miniature vault and inputting the wrong code set off a big brush bot with a passive buzzer. Ooh. I like loud and annoying. That's awesome though. I've never made a brush bot. This is my first brush type robot. And my first use of vibrators. Like, I've had a little mini, like, lily pad vibe in my hack box since I was in college, and I've never used the thing. So this is actually the first time that I've actually installed vibrating motors inside of something and made them do. But anyhow. A quadruped brush bot. Maybe a quadruped brush bot will actually work better. I appreciate your confidence. It might actually work better, but I'm not sure if the fact that the joints bend will help or hinder me. I don't know what sort of behavior that's going to have. I don't know, we'll see in just a second. But yeah, tin those wires, Sarah, quit getting distracted. Are you okay? gonna smell like mint. So the nice part about this is everything I touch in my lab tonight is going to end up smelling minty fresh as a byproduct of having done this here tonight. So I'm going to take my little guy and I'm gonna trim the ends of his little nerves. I'm gonna call these nerves. These are his nerves. Oh god. You're gonna go on my lap, little guy, while I do this. And I'm going to tape the sets of wires off so that I know which ones go together, because that would probably maybe help. I'm thinking. I don't know if it matters at this point since we're just running power to everything. But I should do that now before I get too deep in this. I should just name this guy Minty, and then like only the people who are present for this stream or have watched the archive will know what the hell that means. What do you think of that, Mark? His name could just be Minty. Minty Feet. Mark, his name should be Minty Feet. Minty Feet. I'm going to use orange tape for my tags. Orange tags for Minty Feet. Minty Feet. But they are his nerves. Oh, hi Paul. Paul says good evening. Do you have a way to clamp or adjust the tension on Noodle's legs? No. Not yet, at least. I have a feeling I'm gonna need to in the near future. Which is okay. This is a learning thing. Minty Feet. Yeah, I'm gonna need a way to clamp his feet down, I'm guessing.
Alright.
Yeah?
Ready?
Here. Is that a 3?
No, let me tin these.
Okay.
Then we'll feed them.
Thank you for being my aide.
Yeah.
So while Tony and I go and paint walls tonight, Mark is going to play Zelda. The Legend of Zelda. Which I haven't done all week again. This is like my second week of not Zelda-ing. Like there's something wrong with me. I'm just over it. I'm thoroughly invested in my work at hand. Walking Wednesday. Okay, last one. Zelda. Zoldu? Zeldo? The Legend of Zelda?
Zelda's
Zeldo?
He went off to Hollywood to become a star but didn't make it. He was just waiting tables and stuff.
I hate when that happens. Okay, so this guy... His wires have been separated. Mark, would you mind tinning some of my wires?
You tuning wires?
You want to tin my wires, mister?
Alright.
Yeah? You're gonna need to twist them and then get some juice on them
Yes, ma'am.
so I can shove them in the holes of my bread. My bread holes. Sound good? Sure. Whatever you say, lady. Okay.
$20 is $20, baby.
Yeah? Oh man, this is all washed out now. My thing. Stick it in here. We're gonna get this thing doing tonight. I'm gonna try out 2 different types of shoes. I gotta get my page out though. I did a stream of me working on my next page to my comic all day on, what was it, Thursday?
Yeah.
And I got it almost done, and then I didn't post it because I got knee deep in birthing another baby.
Just popping kids out all week.
I've been popping kids out all week. Again. It's my favorite thing to do. Alright.
What are you doing?
I need some...
Tuning.
You need to tin...
The motors?
No, yeah, the ends of all these things.
Okay.
You're gonna smell like mint.
Sure.
The Legend of Zoldo. Oh god. So here are my sponge feet. Yeah. So these can be the first shoes that I give him, since I haven't really figured out a effective way to separate that brush from the plastic head of the whatever the hell that is, the thing, the neck thing. It has glitter in it, which is kind of cool. I might just glue these on as is and try to level them out manually. It's gonna be a bit easier. I guess I could sand the back of these until it's flat, but I don't know. Then I'm gonna get nasty sandpaper, like, grit juice all over my bristles, and I don't want to do that. But here's I cut the head off of my thing. And then I have this nice pokey. This actually might be usable too if I use this opposite end as a leg, and then this would just kind of like scrape around as the noodle vibrates. So I could make a version of his noodle shoe hoof that just has this pick on the end. So he has like a hoof with like this terrifying like spider leg thing coming off of it. What do you think, Mark? Should I make a shoe out of this thing? The opposite end of the pick?
And it sticks on there?
Should I make a shoe that just has this coming out of it so that Noodle's legs are like this?
Like spikes?
Yeah.
Is that for like what?
For a version of the Noodle's painty leg, vibrated painty feet. It would
hold paint?
It wouldn't hold paint, but it would just kind of shake and...
You could use that, and you could put a coat of like wax, not black wax, or like a Triumph pencil material, like a soft paint, and he scratches the paint away.
That's a good idea. I like that.
You could have that or metal, little metal tongs.
I could just use like paper clips, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save these. The opposite end. Yeah, I wish I could just pull the bristle material off of this, because it looks like it would separate if you just kind of pried it. There's like a seam, but it seems like they are actually in fact like melded together, unfortunately. But I don't know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna cut this off. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah? Daniel says, Ich weiß nicht. Ich weiß nicht tun. I don't know either. Yeah? I have no idea. Pointy feet. Ich weiß nicht means I don't know. Do you know if how adding springs to those joints would affect the bristle movement? I actually don't. I have no idea. I've never done this sort of thing before, and I'm not quite sure if it's gonna actually work. So I'll just have to see. This is gonna be a process of trial and error, and the outcome really just needs to provide a small noodle that's capable of dragging its body across a surface in order to make marks in an interesting way. And that's really all I'm hoping to achieve with this. It'd be great to come up with some interesting form of input that influences the movements of the baby noodle, but if that never happens, I'm okay with it just kind of dumbly making designs on a piece of paper if I press certain keys on my keyboard. Like, that's fine too. I don't have a high bar for this. No offense, little one.
It's good not to have a high bar for things.
Yeah?
It leads to less disappointment in your life. Anyways.
Life is disappointment. Thank you.
Life is a series of disappointments.
So should I put these all in one, you know?
Do you want to just keep adding one at a time so you know it works?
Okay.
Alright. I'm going to set this at 1.5. So this has settings.
Yes.
On these motors, don't use 4.5, 6, 7, right?
Yes, why?
Because the motors are 3-volt motors.
Okay.
They'll blow the motor out.
I wouldn't do that.
So use 1.5, which should get you a nice motion.
Buzz?
3 measured 3.8, but once you load it with motors, it may come down to 3. But it might be too much, so we don't want that.
We won't do that then. What?
We're using a Radio Shack Super. So he has a switch on there, so it lets us select the voltage. Thank you, Radio Shack. Thank you, bankrupt company. All right, do it.
Okay. Do I plug it in?
Yeah, plug that in, and then try one.
Oh God. I guess I can unplug my glue gun.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Okay. I'm plugging it in. Even if Minty ends up defective, he should be. Aww! I won't put the baby away forever. All of the babies that are prototypes of the spawnling while I was developing the spawnling, they all live with Noodle in his nest right here that's off camera. So they all have good, happy lives, and Noodle takes care of them. Because they're like little extensions of his being. I think Tony left and is on his way, maybe. Or maybe he's still in the chat, I don't know. Okay, so I'm hanging the Arduino and breadboard up above the child. And I'm going to... I think I'm going to pull these wires up so that they don't get all confusing.
You can wind them all together since you have tape at the end. Kind of twist them all. There you go. Oh, that I think you had one that was already tuned, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was it.
Yeah, that was the one from yesterday.
When was it even twisted?
I'm gonna tape them.
Oh, tape, okay.
Oh god. It's like a marionette. Oh god.
Yeah?
Yes. I gotta pull them all down equally so they're not confused. Okay. Or perhaps instead of springs, a rubber band or elastic connection of using pivots and linkages in their legs. I've actually thought of having a oh god. Kind of like in Noodle's legs, he has that spring that kind of helps offset his weight. I was thinking of adding... was thinking of using a elastic band on the mini noodle to function in much the same way to kind of help keep the legs from collapsing downwards as they do. But that's just going to take a little bit of tweaking in my original CAD file. I'll do that eventually. Because, yeah, a problem that people are running into is once they do build a spawnling, the legs do want to collapse downward. They don't want to, like, hold their nice bent, poised position as such. There we go.
Just through the
Yeah. Pull it up or...
Yeah. There. You can kind of see.
Okay. Yeah, the wires are going to be a problem.
Yeah. You see some silicone.
I could just tape them to the body so that they don't, as strain relief for now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe do the head so that you can click through it. Oh, that's the brush material.
That's the sponge.
That's the sponge stuff in that.
Yeah, look. That's super better.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Just take one second. Alright, red. I marked the red with a pencil. Do you see that?
No.
You see the red right there on the edge?
Oh, yeah.
So that's red. The other one's black. Maybe put it in the same row.
Oh.
At the top. Yeah, you may have to get a jumper from stuff or... There it goes.
Alright, 1 foot. Ah, ah, ah.
Is it working?
No.
Does that thing not work? It's probably a bad power supply that somebody gave me. Do these?
Well, let me test them on the battery.
Yeah, I'm sure they.
Yay! Oh, I work on the battery.
Okay, so does that power supply not work?
No.
Let's try at switch it to 3.
No, I don't want to blow out the motors.
I think it's just loading down. That's what it's.
No.
I don't think, for a second, I don't think it'll be that bad. You'll be fine.
Me too. I don't want to break the baby's motors.
You prepared to pull one wire.
What? How would it be bad? How would I know to pull
Well,
it?
that low 1.5 may not be enough. Oh, there it is.
But it sounds really fast.
Okay, well, then we're going to need a drop in. We're going to need a proper power supply or something.
Do you have a 3-volt one?
I have my
Anywhere?
bench supply,
Oh.
which I guess I can go get it.
You don't have to.
I need to find a power cord for it.
Do we have a wall wart? Do we have another wall
I
wart?
looked. I only looked for the thing, but
Okay.
it'd probably just be easier to use the bench supply.
No. Okay. I'm gonna plug this guy's little feet up to my crappy battery just to test whether or not the motor is doing anything. And I do need a better way of mounting all of these wires into something. Ideally, that would just be his head. Like, his head would just be what the motors go to, and it's all, like, self-contained. And he's not just, like, a marionette hanging from...
It's a Tony.
There's a Tony here. Mark's gonna let the Tony in. Okay. Okay.
The walls are working?
Yes. Do you want to feel?
No, I'm good. I
Okay.
don't know where that's been.
Yeah? You know exactly where it's been. On my bench. Okay, so the motors are working. I made shoes. I have spongy shoes. How can I flatten that out so that it isn't all shitty? That's a bench supply.
Yes.
You don't have to move
It's
the whole-
variable, so you can control the vibration. So
That's
you
good.
need a place for this.
Oh no, I threw the transistors. I bucked the transistors off of the thing.
Look at that.
This is getting super complicated.
It is.
Shit.
Look at you.
You have a Dremel.
I do. What kind
That's
of... Why not just,
Dremel and a sanding drum.
wouldn't it just get clogged? Because it's plastic and shitty? Really?
Not unless, like, if you're really bearing down on it, then it clogs up. But if you're just taking light passes, then it's fine.
Did you watch me pop the beads in my face?
No, I didn't.
You missed the best part of the stream. I was like holding it like here, and I had pliers, and I was trying to pry the bead out because I thought it was plastic, and it just exploded all over my face. And
I still think this needs to be the Michael J. Fox spot.
That's up, mister.
That's not cool. I'm gonna state that.
This guy's an asshole right there. See him? He's a dick. You made me laugh though with your.
It's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, we
That's
don't
the
laugh
com-
at Michael J. Fox's expense.
Yeah, this is why I'm going to hell.
We're all going to hell.
At this point, it's go big or go home.
So in another, I don't know. I'm gonna give, once I get this, all of the feet vibrating, then I'm gonna call it a day. I'm not gonna add ink to anything yet, because I'm not ready to add ink to anything yet. Because I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to make his legs rigid and not bendy before I can get any results I'm happy with, I think. I don't know. What do you think's gonna happen? If anyone who's in here, if there is anybody, what do you speculate is going to occur once we actually plug Minty in and get him buzzing?
Do you want to do all four, or what are you going to do?
I'm going to do all four. I'm going to plug them all
Pop
into the
those
board.
wires out.
Okay.
You need something to hook these jumper cables to, so do you have any, like, short...
Yeah, there's
more red and black wires?
hookup in my box. The hack box. It's on the top.
Here?
If you open it.
What, these things?
Yeah.
Is there a black one?
I don't know.
Oh, the yellow. That's fine. Alright.
So, let's do this.
I'm gonna make a...
Jump that into your red.
I'm gonna make a...
Jump that into the other one.
I'm gonna make feet that have these on the ends. The pointy pokers.
Okay.
Then plug all your motors in. Let's do the full Monty right here.
Okay, money shot, guys.
Yeah. You can look at my stomach.
Your mentor belly? You gotta, wait, move it. Oh, sorry. There. Look at those man teats.
The doctor says I eat too many tacos.
And
Don't say there.
But I do enjoy them.
I taste mint. Should have done that one first. We'll start. Oh god.
Right.
Yeah, you need better lighting.
Yeah, we're gonna get you in.
Softbox?
Yep, get you a softbox.
I want a softbox.
You should just go over and use YouTube's facilities.
Oh dear
Remember Alan
Lord.
was
That's
telling
in
us about
LA.
that? Oh, is that in LA? I
It's
thought
in
they had
LA.
one in every city.
No. It's in LA.
It's like the major cities.
I think-
Apparently Vegas is
We're not a
major.
major
We're not a major city.
city,
I think I
yeah.
have to have like 10,000 subscribers or
Oh,
some
really?
shit too.
All right, people, get out there. We need 10,000 subscribers.
It's not gonna happen.
Get your friends to watch Sarah's live streams.
Because I'm entertaining.
Yes.
Dear Lord, there's too much goop on this and it will not go in the hole.
Oh, you want to just
Why
tune
don't
it?
you just,
Yeah.
twist them all together and hook
No.
them to the
No.
jumper cables?
You could do
You
that.
get it. Just hold it.
Because I want to see what this is going to do suspended. I'm going to try and suspend it.
I'm trying to get
That's-
close to the how it's gonna.
It's going to be
finally-
tested. Okay, everything's inside.
All right.
All right,
Oh,
everything.
God.
Oh God, wait. Let me give him some space. Give the baby space. Oh God, that's like he weighs not enough. There's not enough weight.
Is it not-
This is the wires. They're
Oh,
gonna
God,
just
it's stuck in place.
make him suffer.
No, just
No.
hold it.
Fine, I'll just hold him. Turn him on.
No. Or
Give.
You
Give.
ready?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna crank up the voltage here slowly.
Tony, come here.
I'm good.
Where? He's afraid.
All right,
I
I'm gonna go
smell
to 1
fear.
volt. It should start to turn on, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're all vibrating.
All right, they're all humming.
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear this.
Really can't.
I don't know if you can hear the
All right, I'm
vibrating.
gonna like.
Ooh.
There
It's,
you go.
ooh, it's like thunder in my hands.
Ooh,
This is powerful.
that's 1.5 volts.
Minty's alive at 1.5 volts. Ooh. It's like having a bunch of bees next to my face.
All right, I'm gonna go to 2 volts.
Ooh, it's like having even more bees. Ooh, the power.
That's violent.
It's a
Try
violent.
putting it on here and just see what happens. Does he move? Is the question, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
a
he's-
dancing noodle. He's like a little Ouija board puck. We should put letters down and see if he can tell us messages.
He's dancing. It's
Close the gate. What? Okay. Some other people know that reference. Right.
that's
Ready?
actually. I want to make sure it's not the wires that are pulling him.
Noodle.
Noodle, don't make
It's-
fun of your spawn.
These are 3 volt motors and we're only at 2 volts. So I'm
God.
curious
What?
to see the violence.
At 3?
Do you want to relax his legs maybe?
It's.
Get him down?
I'm trying to get it so that the wires aren't.
We'll
The,
get his little legs to compress. Right? Into fold mode now.
oh God.
Just press down on his little head. There you go.
Fold mode.
There you go. Maybe that will help. Oh, that's perfect. All right. You ready?
Yes. Oh God! Don't take it to 11.
So I think once you get to a high speed, like
Boom. That
he's
hurts.
gonna glide, right?
Honey, this would make you numb in like 2 seconds.
I think at
Oh,
lower,
he's just like dancing across the
like, if
surface.
we go back to 1.5 volts, I think that resonance will help him kind of dance.
Oh, that's awesome. It works. He doesn't even have shoes on yet, and it's working.
So the next thing is to control the motors individually and get them to kind of like do little jerky motions.
Yeah, like I want to have the motors, like one of them can turn off or two of them can turn off, and he'll just kind of like turn and just go in weird directions. So I'm gonna load up each one of his perspective brush shoe feet with a different color of ink, and then I'm gonna put him on a big board and have him just kind of twirl around and make smears, which is why I wanted to name him Shaky Smears.
Yes.
Shaky Smears. That's his jazz name.
I think I would get this inked up next.
Should we try it now, or?
Do you have an ink surface? Are you gonna use that?
I was just gonna use that to test.
What do you have? Is it some paint?
I don't have the brush feet made yet, though, so I don't have anything to dip him in.
Oh. What do we have that's not messy? I have some poster paint back there.
No, I don't want to dip these.
Oh, okay.
Because these are gonna attach to his shoes,
Right.
so I don't want to get them like.
And I have some
sleepy.
fluorescent tempera paint in the garage. It's probably, if you shake it, will be fine. Certain blue group in Vegas uses it for drums.
Certain blue group.
A certain group of blue
Gentlemen. Blue.
With a car
Drum.
full of paint.
They pour it on a drum head and they hammer it, and it splatters everywhere with a black light, and it's a pretty cool effect. But I have some of that in the garage. I don't know where I got it from.
I don't know where you got it from.
Yeah.
Either. Blue people. So the baby's alive and he's thrashing around nicely.
He's got a very low friction on the paper.
So
That's really awesome.
he's kind of being guided by the stiffness of the wire a little bit, but I'm gonna try and bind that up a little bit more. Oh god. I'm gonna try and get this like hanging set up a little bit less.
Do you think if you unhooked
Janky.
one motor, he would spin in place?
I think with the wire there, it's
Just
probably
pull one
fighting
red
over
wire.
that.
Pull one red wire.
One.
Alright, does he like...
He's not gonna want to because he's held. These are holding him in place.
Does he really? Okay, I thought there's enough drop there.
Yeah, no, he needs... I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do something about the wires, otherwise he's not gonna want to move and do anything. Okay. Don't do that. You're making me scared. Okay.
He tends to move at lower... So I think with a little bit of control, you can actually get him to do things that you want.
He's like a little farting bee bot. The farting bee. You heard it here, folks. Yeah, that one doesn't want to go in. Of course I pulled the one
Do
that...
you want shooting the wire? If
No.
you put a point on it, it'll go in.
It's
You
okay.
got it,
If you put a point on it, it'll go in.
That's what my mama told me.
Mm.
So,
I'm excited. It seems to be doing exactly what I want it to. There's a little bit of weirdness with the wire that is limiting its motion right now, and probably holding it in place a little bit. So I think before I pick this up again for my next stream, I'm going to try and alleviate some of that weird wire tension and strain, so that the robot can actually move around if I play around with the motors and how they pulse. I guess I could probably have used thinner wire too. That would have maybe helped. I don't
yeah,
know
we
if
have
that's
like, I think we have plenty of silicone wire, so maybe rig that up,
So I'm gonna...
and then you'll get a complete. Yeah,
Yeah.
silicone's gonna be more flexible. Just make a bundle of that.
So I don't even have the brushes added to this guy yet, but I think before I do my next stream, I'm going to get my next set of these plastic shoes, and I'm going to add these tiny little brush heads to the shoes so that he has some actual brushes to dance on top of. And yeah, I'll let you guys watch him paint because he's itching to make art now that he's alive and breathing. And I can probably put a head on him now too.
Ah, his little eyes.
He can have eyes. I can actually take a head from one of the other ones. This one. This is mean. Don't look. This is terrible. Weird. Oh my God. I just took a head off of one of my other babies and I'm gonna stick it on him. There. Now he has eyes. Yeah? Okay. And then I'll post that page tomorrow as soon as I'm done illustrating it so you can see what it looks like, those of you who were present for my last stream where I did a bunch of drawing. And then next time I'm gonna hopefully have this guy doing some smears. He'll be living up to his namesake by doing the shaky smears. But yeah, until then, I'm gonna go and make a giant mess on some walls in a theater that is belonging to some blue people that make some messy things sometimes here in Vegas. As always, thank you for keeping me company, and yeah, follow me on Twitter if you don't, at Spetku, that's at SPETKU, and you can follow Noodlefeet as well, because he has a Twitter account too, because he's a cool kid. But yeah, until then, I don't know, I'll see you around. Oh, and I have to press stop stream. Yes.